Hi, I'm Larry Sassano. I'm the president of Florida's Great Northwest Regional Economic Development Organization. And welcome to our show, Florida's Great Northwest, all about economic development, education, and about the industry sectors of our region. My special guest is Dr. James Kerley, president of Gulf Coast State College. Dr. Kerley, welcome.
Larry, how you doing today?
I'm good. I thank you for use of your studio, too.
Oh, our pleasure.
And today we're going to get into some really interesting topics that Dr. Kerley will share some information for us. But first, I'd like to give a little background on Dr. Kerley. And many of you know him and know about his background, but I think it's worth repeating. Dr. Kerley holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Educational Administration and Supervision of Higher Education from Florida State University.
Mm-hmm. Go Seminoles.
Go Nose. A Master's of Arts in Teaching and History from the Citadel, and a Bachelor of Science in Social Sciences, History, Secondary Education from Tennessee Tech University. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Kerley has 27 years of community college experience, with 20 of those years as a community college president.
All right.
Impressive. And one other thing I'd like to mention is so that there's a clear understanding with our audience about what the Great Northwest does in relation to the local economic development organizations, and of course with the industries, with the educational portion of our region. We have three parts of our mission. Number one, to brand our region for economic stimulation, growth, and understanding. Number two, to illustrate the strategic marketing plan that we have put together for this region for creating high-paying, better-paying jobs. And number three, to create an atmosphere to help our political and public officials understand what role they could play in helping to stimulate economic growth in their communities. So with that, I'll get into our first question with Dr. Kerley. You serve on many community boards, including membership as a board of director for the Bay County Chamber of Commerce and a member of the Bay County Chamber of Commerce Economic Development. So what do you see as the role of the college in economic development today?
Well, it's a good question. And I think, Larry, that a college like ours needs to be very focused on economic development. When I first came here, I put that as a focus. We developed our strategic plan around economic development and partnership. And the big thing for us is that we are a key partner. That's what I keep saying. We just want to be a partner with all of economic development teams out there. Primarily, we're that, I think, as a community state college, we're that access point of providing educational programs. New industry comes in, we'll do the training, we'll develop academic programs. Again, it could be continuing education, non-credit, or it could be on the credit side. But always willing to help and willing to, I say, turn on the dime if we have to. Yeah. We don't have to take 6 months or a year to develop a program. We're there to help, and we want to be a willing partner in economic development.
Well, and you are, and you know, I think once our audience hears a little bit more about some of the initiatives that you've put together, what you've got, some exciting things going on at this college, you know, people want to hear about those things.
Absolutely.
And be involved with them as well. How important is college role in building a global, world-class workforce? You touched a little bit about that. Maybe elaborate on that.
You know, as you know better than I probably, to recruit, especially we talk about and you talk about probably a lot, is we need to recruit the high-tech, high-paying kind of jobs in this region. And you're not going to be able to do that unless you have the workforce. You need that global workforce, that very talented workforce. You know, in the past, I remember working in Kentucky. My background coming from Kentucky, I always worked a lot with economic development groups on economic development teams and economic development boards. A lot of it, again, was workforce, but a lot of it was infrastructure. We were like maybe third on the list as far as education. Now I think we're probably one on the list. Yeah. Number one, as far as education, has been one of the key things as far as a prospective industry coming into this area. They're going to ask about the workforce. And if you don't have it, I think they'll go to the next community, next region of the country. Because it is so competitive. So I think, you know, we've got to really, really help out and step up to that, to build that global workforce. And I think for us too, it's several different levels. For us, it's industrial certifications, it's building the associate degrees in the fields, particularly in the technical areas, as well as I defend what we do in the bachelor's degree programs. We're not trying to duplicate universities, but what we're trying to do is build bachelor's degrees where students can get a job, particularly in the key workforce area where we're trying to recruit new industries in. So I think you have to have all those pieces in place, and I think we're the key ones to do that for us community and state colleges.
Well, I tell you, you hit the nail right on the head, and in terms of providing the type of educational and training courses, certifications that will allow those students to get jobs.
Right.
I mean, that is it. That is the bottom line, and you are at the forefront of doing that.
Thank you.
Tennessee and Kentucky have some great economic development programs too.
They really do. I just got back, Larry. I know you're familiar with it. Not far from where I live, probably a little over an hour in Chattanooga. I went to see the Chattanooga State President, and I don't know if you've been there recently, but it's dynamic what they've done there, and the difference they've made in that community. That whole community has come together, and a whole region has come together for economic development and recruit new industry. And the college is right in the forefront of it. You talk to the president, he went to Germany, and for Volker Company, I think dealing with chemicals and everything else, and then Volkswagen on top of that. But they were right in the forefront with it, working with the economic teams there in the whole region. But there are a lot of examples of that, and we have to be an integral player, I think, as far as community and state colleges with it.
Yeah, well, we do too. Economic developers have to be, and in this region, I'm very proud that the economic developers see that.
Yes,
and,
they do.
They pitch that when they're
do.
in front of industry. I pitch it as well because it is so important, and the industries listen to that. When you talk about some of the training programs and the colleges that are involved in those programs, they want to know about those for their employees as well as for their own children.
Absolutely right.
So
it goes both ways. You're right.
It does. We talked about training programs and everything, and I want to get into this advanced. I'm anxious to talk about this advanced technology center that you're developing, and I know that we're going to be having some pictures of the center. How far along is the center? What's your opening?
We are close. We actually have substantial completion probably by end of next week. That we're that close. And then there'll be some punch lists on top of that. It'll be open for classes this August. And we have our grand opening with bringing in lots of folks, hopefully the governor, and we've invited even the President of the United States to come because he talks a lot about community colleges. So that's October 11th at 9:30, and invite you to be there. We'll send you an invitation. But it's a fabulous facility, and we're very close to getting it open right now. We're looking at our move-in schedule. We have furniture, equipment ordered, and we'll be here probably within the next 2 weeks to start moving in. That's our goal.
Well, the renditions that I saw of it, really impressive looking.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful, contemporary-looking buildings. So it'll be a treat to be able to be part of that. But I think that's important, Dr. Kerley, because when students are getting educated, I think the parents of a facility like that draws them to that because it says it's modern, it's technology driven, it's a LEED type building. Right. I know that, and I think it's important if you're going to be part of that as a student as well.
Oh, I think it is. I think students are excited about it. I think high school students will be excited about it. We want to bring as many high school students, middle school students through this Advanced Technology Center as possible, and to encourage them to think about that technical field of going in. This is a lot of good fields, a lot of good opportunities to make good money, and go to the Technology Center, check out the programs, and it fits in. There are jobs of the future there. You know, some examples, cybersecurity is very, very big. It's a lot of discussion with that. We have a cybersecurity program that will be in that Advanced Technology Center. Robotics, IT security. We have a culinary, our culinary program will move in there. And it'll be one of the best, I think, in the state of Florida. And this technology center, I think, will be among the best in the country, if not the best in the country. I mean, we're that confident with it. We have looked at all the technology centers like this. There are about 160, 165 designations of advanced technology centers on community college campuses. And we've been to the major ones. And we've copied a lot of their ideas, because that's how you do it. You look at the best and you bring it down and build it. And we think we have the best facility out there. As a matter of fact, in October, when we have the grand opening, we have the national conference for advanced technology centers.
We're going to talk about that,
Yeah, it'll be right in the center in October.
That's the 25th. Is that the 25th annual conference of that?
Yeah, it's their 25th.
It's
their 25th annual conference. That's great. But yeah, it's their 25th, and to have them here at our opening of our Advanced Technology Center, great timing. We love that.
Yeah. So that's a big announcement for them, and then to have them host them here, that will go a long way.
It will. It will. We're excited about it, and excited about the grand opening, and but also excited about the difference it's going to make with a lot of folks. We think we know it's going to be a great tool to recruit new industry. It's a great way to introduce technical programs in a very creative way, in a modern facility, as you said, too. And I just think it's going to be an enormous success here to help in this whole region. And you talk a lot about region, which I think is absolutely right. This Advanced Technology Center will impact the region. The center itself will have an entrepreneurial element too. Absolutely.
And that's so important today. You know, in economic development, there's three basic tools. That's your recruitment of new industry, your help and expansion of existing industry, and entrepreneurial growth. So to have that element, in your center there, you're fulfilling, the need of economic development growth. So that's great that you've incorporated that in there. What do you see as the impact that this center will have? You talk about, really, it's a regional center. How do you see that in terms of impacting the area?
I think it's going to be a huge impact, Larry. First of all, I think we're going to have the right programs and really helping to build a skilled workforce that not only will impact Bay County, but the entire region. As we've talked before, I think having that trained workforce is the key, recruiting new industry in this area, as well as keeping our keeping our old industry here. We need to retain them, and they need to be, they're always building or refreshing, and we need to be there for them too. So I think the Technology Center is for all of that, or even budding entrepreneurs that want to start their own businesses. We have an entrepreneurial center that will be in the Advanced Technology Center. We have our small business development center that will be there. We've just hired faculty member, a brand new faculty member that his specialty, he has his doctorate in entrepreneurialism. So, all that put together, I think is a good package for us to help the region and to impact the region.
That entrepreneur element is really important. You've got a good number of military men and women here. When they transition out of the military, I feel a good percentage of them are looking to, because of their technical training in the military, maybe start up their own business. And what a great advantage for them to have the access to this Advanced Technology Center, to utilize it and gain some of the skills they need to start their own business. I think that's a fantastic idea. It
really is. And as you know, too, a lot of these small businesses, a big percentage of them will fail unless they've had support in the beginning, support to begin their financials and to build a plan, or maybe have the technical expertise that we would have in the Technology Center. and then their success rate will go way up by being involved in the Technology Center. You know, I think, you know, to me, I don't know your opinion on this, but economic development is about recruiting large industries in this area, and you're doing that, and many other people. But you're also promoting, I think, that entrepreneurialism and building those from the grassroots up. And I think we have a lot of entrepreneurs in this, entrepreneurial people that want to start their own businesses. We've talked to a lot of people that have a lot of great ideas, and I said, look, come out, talk to some of our people at the college. We'll help you. And you know, don't lose your dream, what you want to do, and you can make it a reality and be very successful with it.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I mean, I'm a firm believer in entrepreneurial growth. My family, my two older brothers were entrepreneurs. They owned several businesses, and they were successful at some and not as successful but others. But they never had that formal training. They just we just all started out working for people and said, hey, I think we could do this ourselves, you know. And I've talked to some of the industry leaders in the area here, like Dr. Paul Shue from the Fort Walton Beach area, and others, that they said, you know, if we would have had like an advanced technology center when we were starting our business, it would have probably taken us less time to be successful.
Right.
I thought, you know, that's quite a statement, you know.
It's a big statement. You're right.
So I think that it may grow to be a very important part of your center over long term.
I think it will be. I think a lot of success for our area will be building those small businesses, and then they just sort of blossom and keep growing. I think you need both. I think you need to bring in and recruit the larger industries from the outside, but I think we can grow just those individuals that have those spark of an idea. I call it like a striking a match, and you see the flame, that spark of an idea. Well, I think the Technology Center can help people to spark their ideas and let it become a reality. And I just think there's a lot of possibilities with that.
I do too. You know, you talked before about the certifications, and I think that you know, we want the young men and women, and some of those that haven't had opportunity until later on in life to get a degree. But the certifications are another element that it sounds like you're focusing on to help create a certain educational element for those men and women, for the companies that are looking for those particular type skills.
Absolutely. You know, certifications are very important. It's right on our agenda. We recognize there are a lot of folks that don't need to get a 4-year degree, but I do believe they need something beyond high school. So if it's a young person or a person who maybe they worked in the fishing industry and it's not quite as good now and they need to retool. Well, maybe they don't have all the time, 4 years, 6 years to stay in college, but if we can get them focused in on a certification for, it could be 6 months or a year at the most, and get them in and get them out and get a job, then to me we've been successful by doing that and getting in the right certification. You could have a certification in cybersecurity or a manufacturing certification, industrial certification in the right area, and you get them retooled fast and get out there and get a job. To me, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and make a good living at it.
Absolutely.
As well, you know.
Absolutely. I guess I'd want people to see, Larry, that to me, college is anything beyond high school. I call it post-secondary education. It's post-secondary education. Whether it be a certification, a associate degree, a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree, that's all, you know, expanding your sort of portfolio as far as your experience. You might start off with a certification, you go work for a couple of years, and you want to build that certification into a degree. Then we can do that also. And that's that pathway. We want to build a pathway for students. So what they do on a short-term basis needs to be tied in to other degree programs. They can come back and build it even stronger if they want.
Absolutely. You know, I wanted to touch upon a similar program that you're involved with, and that's a technical skills task force that both former Speaker Ellen Binns and President of Golf Power Stan Connolly developed, and you're part of that.
Right.
That, to me, complements what you're doing with the Advanced Technology Center here. How do you see that program? I know that you've been involved with it and been at some of the meetings.
Right.
And it's moving forward now. But the philosophy that's come out of that, with everyone involved, seems to be very similar to what the Advanced Technology Center is about.
I think it does. I think it ties together real well. It's identifying what are the needs and what are the gaps that are out there as far as the skilled labor, and how do we all work together. And I like what we've done. I applaud, you know, Stan and what he's done with that, and Gulf Power and Alan, and all the folks that have committed their time to that. That's the reason we as a college want to be part of it, because it does fit in the Advanced Technology Center. It's about building, you know, those skills that are necessary for our current industry, but also those higher level skills that are needed for that high-tech industry we want to recruit in this area. So I think it's addressing all of that, as well as the entrepreneurialism. Yeah. So it's directly right in line with what we talk about in the Advanced Technology Center at Gulf Coast State College. It's a great group, and again, I applaud everybody that's been involved with that.
Well, you're involved in it, so I mean, we needed you there, along with the other college presidents and the workforce boards and the industry leaders too. You know, they've given good feedback as to what their needs are. And when we look at those, and we look at the companies that the EDOs are working with to recruit, like you said, you know, that program and your program is going to help both of those sectors, you know.
No question about it. And again, I think the key is all of us working together. The message I get from this task force, hey, let's all come together. Yeah. And that's sort of how it started off. Let's all come together. Let's try to figure out, again, what are some gaps and programs that are needed, and how do industry works with the education, the workforce, and all of us working together. Yeah, it's really about building the partnership, and we don't have to be in a silo by ourselves doing our own thing as a college, or you doing your own thing as a Great Northwest, or Gulf Power doing their own thing and economic development. But I think coming together we're a lot more powerful. And I like the message of working as a region. You know, too often in the past, we've worked as, I just speak for Bay County. You know, we have a lot of cities, we have the county, and people were doing their own things probably 15, 20 years ago. But now we can't afford to do that. That's right. And we need to look at the bigger picture, and that's where you come in, as more of that regional leadership and all of us tying together. What's good for Pensacola is going to be good for Panama City or Apalachicola, and I see that attitude shifting, and I think these things like the task force help to change that.
Absolutely. Well, you're right on target there. We've only got a couple minutes left. Maybe one last good question. We've got some challenges and some opportunities here in the area. What do you see, particularly for Bay County, some of the challenges and some of the opportunities?
Well, I think some of the challenges too is shifting, not changing tourism and what's been important for us for 100 years, 50 years, 25 years, and not discounting that at all, because it's very, very important. Mm-hmm. But changing mindsets a little bit too, that hey, let's balance this thing out. Yeah. Let's make sure we keep a focus on our tourism, at the same time building a strong industrial business base too, and at the same time building entrepreneurs that can help start their own business, and developing that whole ecosystem, I guess, letting all that thrive and grow together. I think that's the challenge, is to build that and stay focused on that and not let go of that. And I think we have a lot of opportunities with the college, the Advanced Technology Center. I'm talking about Bay County and this particular area, with the new airport that is dynamite, and I applaud for people that had the vision for that. The port across the street from the college. And I think just a very friendly place that we live here in Bay County, and a gorgeous area. Why wouldn't industry want to settle here, or corporate, a corporate entity? Why wouldn't they want to be here? It makes sense to me. Taxes are pretty reasonable, friendly people, and then if we can build the workforce, you know, with what we're talking about, and the Advanced Technology Center and college universities all working together, I see a lot of hope. I see a lot of hope for this area.
Excellent. Well, you've been listening to Dr. James Kerley, president of Gulf Coast State College, and it's been a real pleasure, Dr. Kerley.
Thank you.
Your enthusiasm, you must have been, if you still teach, you must be a great teacher.
I love teaching.
You know, I could see it in your enthusiasm and your passion. So we thank you for what you're bringing to our community here. And I hope you enjoyed this show today, and with Dr. Kerley, and I'm Larry Sassano, Florida's Great Northwest. I enjoyed it, and tune in again and for another show with Florida's Great Northwest. Thanks, and have a great day. Thank you.